You all understand the camera?
Yeah.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Supervisor Hyde.
Here.
Councilwoman Templeton.
Here.
Councilman Eddy.
Here.
Let the record show Councilwoman Harris is absent.
I'd like to ask for a moment of silence for Eileen Baker, who passed away. Eileen was a very sweet, smiley, wonderful person. I think everybody's going to miss her very, very much.
They certainly are.
The first order of business is I would like to, first, before we have reports from the board, I would like to appoint Councilman Eddy as liaison to the transfer station and the C&D land trust. Is that okay with you, Mr. Eddy?
Yes.
Okay. And do I have some reports from the board?
Yeah, I have a report I'd like to give to the board and have it into the minutes. And a quick summary. You know, over the period of time as being a board member here, this being my fourth year, the last 2 years I've been appointed to a town parade for Memorial Day, Old Home, for Memorial Day. The last parade that was done was for Old Home Days, and it was for a Thurman company event. Memorial Day parades have always been held in Warrensburg for years, and most all of the veterans and those people have been involved, have participated with Warrensburg, including the fire companies and volunteers thereof. So, in reference to a committee that really didn't exist, being the Memorial Day Parade, I decided I would revert back to a summary of events over my course of being a board member, and this is one of two, and I believe you all have a copy of it. And Town Clerk, you have a copy of that report, and I'm going to have that entered into the minutes. It will be put into the minutes and be available for the taxpayers to review.
I have a brief one. Joan's not here, but she has prepared invoices for white space and sent them out to some of the subscribers, I'm understanding. I have inventoried the CPE kits for white space. We have 60 units still unsold. I've got a whole pile of paperwork to actually figure out what the original cost the town paid versus what residents paid for them. I'm working on that. I received a letter from Gore Mountain about a summer program for children. It's $1,000 for up to 50 children. It looks like it's just a one-day event though, so it's not like a whole summer program. The report for the Easter party is complete. Money has been returned, $43.89. And just some various phone calls that I received from residents in there, and I'll give this, Susan has a copy of that as well.
I have numerous topics to bring up tonight. The first one I would like to bring up is the neighborhood watch. Mr. Morassi came in and spoke with me about the neighborhood watch, and I was wondering if Mr. Morassi would like to speak to the board on that.
Yeah, sure.
Your idea. And I did want to let you know, I did look into some signs, and I found they ran somewhere around $32.99 to $42.99 a sign.
Well, the thing is, I had posted on a couple of Facebook pages about the signs, and I had numerous people requested. They thought it was a good idea. They wanted to know where to get them. You can get them online. I ordered 5 of them. The 5th one was free. It cost like $10 each. You can put these off the road by your driveway. This is what they look like. You know, they're not expensive, and you know, they're made out of aluminum. They got the holes in them already, 2 screws, and you're done with it. It's in other areas it's called block watch. Entrance points in town, there's a big sign that puts up that states that, you know, we're a crime watch community. It's not something that would make your community look like you're ridden with crime. It's something to let the outside people know that if you're coming in here to do no good, we have our eyes on it. I mean, we all look out for each other now. But we're not stealing from each other. This is basically for outside people to let them know that although we may argue with one another, we still look out for one another. You know, a recent thing happened last week down where my son lived, one of my boys. One of the kids, a 13-year-old kid that goes to school with my grandson, somebody tried to abduct him. He ran, we followed him to his house. It's a community that has homes that are, I would say, most of them start at $300,000 and up. So it's not, you know, it's not a community that would normally, you would think there would be a lot of crime in it. They do have a block watch community. Excuse me. This happened Thursday. By Friday, they had the person. Some information gathered from the community. So, you know, it does work. I spoke with Sheriff York. He also thought, you know, it's not a bad thing to do.
What did he say? Because I looked it up online and saw that you can actually have a registered one, and that you kind of work with your sheriff.
Yeah, I didn't really get into it that much with him.
Yeah.
But, you know, the thing is, the person that they broke into lived right up the street from me. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. They didn't just break the window, they came in. And the police department is fairly sure that it's the 2 people that shot the person on the head. So I was told she's very lucky she's alive with what these people are doing. And I guess they've already confessed to quite a few break-ins in our area here. So,
How many entrances are there to the town altogether?
About 6.
How many?
About 6.
Well, you would know, wouldn't you? Yeah, 6. And how many signs did you get so far?
well, these are small, okay? I got 5. I put one on the person that was broken into. I spoke with her and asked her if she was interested. She was more than happy to have it. But these are kind of small. These we can purchase ourselves, and you can place it near your driveway where it can be seen from the road. And to me, it's a sign of community unity also. The bigger signs that the town can post are easier to see because the lettering would be bigger, and like I said, you can post them at entrances to the town and such.
We should probably, actually, I didn't ask the highway superintendent about signs, because there are rules about signs. And so, something we can look into?
Well, something Mr. Marasco, would it be something that you'd like to spearhead?
Well,
I mean, you became a Thurman town resident for a number of years now.
oh yeah.
And you're bringing a reasonable approach to situations that, I know multiples of people, including myself, that have never locked their doors in the town. And they're locking their doors now. And the reason being is we seem to be having we've got a break-in in the town hall, we've got break-ins around Bowen Hill, we've had break-ins on Drexel Road, Mountain Road, so on. So we've had some incidents that says we need to watch our neighbor a little closer. I get accused of watching my neighbors. We get called the gatekeepers every once in a while. Well, when you see something happen in your area that is not familiar, that is not a car that you recognize, a lot of times you will take the time as a neighbor and pursue and find out, one, a license plate. If you have the opportunity to ask the person maybe what they're doing there, get a visual. There's a lot of things neighbors do for neighbors. On the other hand, maybe we ought to post and make more perception that we are watching a little more closely than what you would anticipate. And that is something maybe you might give some consideration of maybe spearheading for us.
Well, I mean, as far as I can see, it's just a matter of purchasing the signs and, getting Pat Wood to, put them up for us. And as far as the individual signs, I mean, this is something you can find very easily on the internet. And like I said, these were listed for $10 a piece, free shipping. If you bought 5, you paid for 4. If you ordered 5, you paid for 4.
I think the big ones, I think it was the same kind of deal.
Yeah.
They were just a little more expensive, but not terribly.
Yeah.
I saw ones that looked like that, but bigger.
I don't feel it's something that is an expensive item or something that would be offensive to anybody coming into the town. It's just to let the bad element know that they're not welcome here. I mean, myself, we had been broken into a few years back. I have an alarm system and I have cameras. So, I'm not really worried about myself so much. It's basically for my neighbors.
Well, let's check with Pat and to see if there's any rules that have to be followed and see what they say about it. And about putting them up and
I feel so.
Possibly look into a couple for the entrances and then people could put their own little ones up.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll look into that.
I appreciate it.
Well, I think it's
your time.
An attention given to even help your neighbors and pay a little more attention to your neighbor.
Exactly. I mean, I posted on 2 of the websites the anonymous tip line also. You can call the sheriff's department. You don't have to give your name. Actually, it's a voice message. You don't have to talk to anybody. Or you can go to the Warren County Sheriff's Department's website and you can leave a message there for any information that you may have. But from reading in the paper, the apprehension of these 2 people was through some help from the community. That's what they were quoted as. So it's not a bad thing.
No, I agree with you.
Okay, thanks again.
Thank you, Mr. Ratchey. Actually, the next topic has to do with traffic signs. There was a resident from Mud Street who was concerned with some safety issues on Mud Street, and I just want to let you know that I talked to Pat about it, and he is looking into it. Apparently, some signage is doesn't come under the town, but actually the state, and so he is looking into that matter. The third is I wanted to bring up was drug testing. Some town board members had brought up the fact that it didn't seem to be that the town highway CDL holders were being drug tested, and apparently that is something that has to be done, and that we could be severely fined if it was found out that they weren't being drug tested. So I spoke with Pat this morning, and he agreed. He said, we used to be drug tested, but he said, I don't know what happened. He said, it just didn't seem to happen anymore. And I said, well, we searched the vendors to see if we could find a drug testing vendor, and because typically costs the town $100 a year
Right.
to do drug testing, and I couldn't find anything, and I looked into town of Johnsburg, town of Warrensburg, called the county DPW, and it's done everywhere, and it's a random drug testing, and Pat agreed that he thought it was a good idea, so I gave him, this is the vendor, Standard Medical Services. I think I put one of those in.
Yeah. You got me.
Yeah, and he took it right over to the highway garage, and made the phone call this morning, and he's in the process of putting this together, so we'll be complying with the rules.
Right. I mean, CDL license
Yeah.
is now a federal license, not a state license, and anyone who holds a CDL is subject to a drug test.
Okay, so he's addressed that. I put in some information, well, actually, Mike, you shared with us, you had found the employee handbook from, what date was that? 2000, that one you just gave us.
Yeah.
Oh, right here, from 2011. So, because we had talked about the need for an employee handbook that
It
concerns.
was passed and covers all the things that need to facilitate a full-time, part-time, discloses hours, who's full-time, again, part-time, and who has access to health insurance, who does not have access to health insurance. Everyone has it, but if you are a full-time employee, the town is participating in either a part or full payment of individual and or family plan. As a part-time employee, on that resolution from participation, anyone who is part-time has the ability to participate in the health plan, but they have to upfront the money themselves, not paid by the town.
Well, we may need to look at updating it, but I also put in the packet a quote from Yeager and Flynn, should we decide to go with that. And apparently things change year to year, and so we want to make sure that you're complying with those changes. And she also warned me that there's something, and I don't really know too much about it yet, but she said something coming up that Governor Cuomo has passed to do with, I think she said it was family leave, something, and she said it's going to be very, very complicated, and there's going to be a lot of change. So I just put that stuff in your packet just for another option of, how to address the employee handbook, and say we all need to read it over, and Joan, when she comes back from her vacation, and figure out what we're going to do. We're going to write our own, we're going to have them help us with it.
Well, I think that, we have a starting plan for all of that, but, there's the county, the state, everybody has a policy. Whether we can adopt it as is, or we have to modify it to fit our particular plan, that's a question. Something definitely needs to be looked at.
Okay. All right, so the next item is Constellation Energy, and I was going to ask Deborah Runnan if she could step up here and explain what we have found. She's the one that did all the homework on this and discovered this, and she can share it with us. We might be able to save some money.
You can have a chair. We'll let you sit here.
This week we received letters from National Grid. We have 11 accounts, different electrical accounts, and they received notification from Constellation regarding several of our accounts. They informed National Grid that we've chosen them to be our electric supplier, but we haven't done that. It takes effect May 5th and several of them on May 10th. No one here has spoken with Constellation to authorize that change. We had Constellation before, those contracts were up for renewal, and we didn't authorize them. So I started to compare the cost of electric between Constellation and National Grid for the past 16 months to see how it would have affected us if we had National Grid the entire time instead of Constellation. And what I found out is when you compare the kilowatt rates for each, Had we not been with Constellation for the past 16 months, the town would have saved over $2,200. The problem, I think, is when they started with Constellation, the electric with National Grid was high. So by choosing Constellation, they were set at a flat rate. But over time, National Grid's rates come down significantly. So now, I've talked to someone about stopping those contracts. We can stop contracts on 4 of the 6 that are with Constellation. 2 already took effect on May 5th without anybody's authorization. So they told me that if I can call them up and see what the proof is of who authorized them, either written or verbal, if they have no one on file, which they shouldn't, then we can terminate those 2 and also go back to National Grid for all the accounts. And we could save a lot of money that way. And if for some reason National Grid does start to go up again, we can always sign back up at a more favorable rate. But I have a spreadsheet, which I can make available if anybody really wants to view it, but it shows the rate per kilowatt for Constellation locked in was a little over 7 cents, and the rate for National Grid over time, because we do have several accounts that are still only with National Grid, so I could pull all their rates. Some were as low as 2.5 cents versus 7. And over time, it adds up. It's a lot of money. It's, our savings would have been 57% of the total cost. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. I'm hoping that you do a resolution or whatever you need to do so we can cancel Constellation.
So
We need to save money.
just need a quick resolution that says that the town board authorizes.
I'm not sure of the rules, but I think you need board approval to cancel
Yeah, well,
Constellation.
I'll add that to the here.
Thank you, ma'am.
That one's not written up. Okay, let's see. I've had several requests about the honor roll. More than one person has requested that it be moved back up here. Mr. Reddy, have you taken a look at that by any chance?
I can say that I know the location is up in the Veterans Field, but I haven't looked at it recently. Looked at it last year. My consensus is it should be moved back to where it was visible in the town hall by the people who only wanderers or music lovers on Monday night physically have access to our veterans plaque, and it needs to be updated. It should be updated.
Did you look into the moving of it and
Sure.
see if that would work? You don't mind doing that?
No.
Okay, the next item is, we've had several people come in and, well, one at a town board meeting and one person came in today. Delbert Chambers brought this up at a town board meeting, and Carol Gazali came in today, and she was talking about a town cleanup. Carol, would you like to share with us your thoughts?
I did not intend, and thank you, by the way, for taking time today. I apologize for taking up too much time. I walked the road from Mountain Road up to, sometimes all the way to the goat farm, up South Johnson Road. Sometimes I go down or Garnet Lake Road, sorry. But a couple of years ago, I noticed that it was very dirty, a lot of garbage, especially in the ditches. And I approached the supervisor then, and that had been she was trying then to work with the county to do something about that, because it technically is a county road, but it's in the town of Thurman. So I've been walking again, and the garbage didn't go away, in fact, it kind of multiplied. So I came in today and just said, I'm perfectly willing to pick up the garbage if I walk, no problem. I'll buy the bags, I don't care. My only issue was, could I please have permission to take it to the landfill without it costing me however much the huge bags are. Didn't mean to get a whole thing started today. But I know that
There are several ideas for how that can be done, and I know Cynthia did get a hold of Pat. You want to take over and say, because I had come up with some ideas, but she had also come up with some ideas in the meantime. I just wanted to clean up the road, that's all.
So I called Pat, and I asked him, what would he think? And Councilwoman Templeton, we talked about it also. I said, what would you think if we, if we designated a cleanup Thurman week? And I suggested May 15th through the 21st, and have that week designated as people could pitch in that wanted to pick up roadside litter and put it in clear plastic bags, and then on Monday the 22nd, have them set out on the road, all over Thurman, and I asked Pat, would you consider having the highway crew drive around and pick these up? And he loved the idea, and then he suggested, because we have to get these large orders of clear plastic bags, he suggested having the people interested coming to the town hall or the highway garage, picking up several bags, and then doing the cleanup. And he said, yeah, he said, just have them put, the stuff on the side of the road, and we would pick it up on Monday. He'd send a couple trucks around town. And we could give it a try. It's going to be an honor system, because obviously this is for roadside garbage. This is not for somebody to clean out their cellar and get, so if everybody could, pitch in.
I'm going to say it's just going to be those bags that we have here, or any clear bag?
If people have clear plastic bags, but I think it's important to be clear so that you can because you can kind of recognize what you picked up on the side of the road as opposed to
Household trash.
And obviously there might be a diaper that you might find or something, but if it's a whole bunch of that kind of stuff. So he thought it was a great idea. I thought it was a great idea, and we could give it a try and see how it goes. And
I think Griffin wants to say
Yeah,
something.
I think it's a great idea too, but that weekend is garage sale weekend, there's tons of cars out
Right.
there. Might be a bad time for people to be walking along cleaning house.
Well,
the week and a half.
what's that?
May
Probably the
19th,
weekend
after.
21st is the
Probably the
garage
week
sale,
after the sale.
townwide sale. There's a lot of traffic on the roads.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. And it's not really that much time to tell people.
Yeah. So then you want to do it? Let's see, the very next week. So we could do it.
That'd
That's
be
fine
better.
with Pat. So we
Yeah,
could
that
do
would be
it.
better, because a lot of
It'd be
the,
after the garage sale,
So-
too.
yeah, a lot of the people that come in for garage sale drop off their garbage.
Sunday,
Throw cups out and everything.
Sunday the garage. When is the last day of the garage sale?
21st.
21st.
21st. Okay. So how about the 21st is and that's a Sunday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So how about if we make it the next week, the 22nd to what's the
Then you've got
Sunday?
Memorial Day.
You gotta do it before Memorial Day.
Oh,
During the
no.
week?
Sorry.
Well, Memorial, we're not gonna have,
You're not going to please it.
well, the objective would be is,
We could do it
Would you-
that Monday to the Thursday and have them pick it
pick
up
up
on
on
Friday.
Friday.
Well, we could do that too. Would you like to try that instead?
You know, what's the difference, during the week or the weekend? The backdrop of it is,
Well, then let's start
Yes.
at this.
Kristen-
Well, then we don't have enough
Kristen
time.
Stokes and I have an ongoing thing about whoever loves to eat McDonald's and throw it all over Bowen Hill and River Road and whatever. We're all the time picking it up.
My horse and I just picked up the metal in Bowen Hill. We took it home and put it in a can.
But I mean, that's the objective. So I don't see any problem if it was done during the week and done prior to Memorial Day or done prior to garage sale weekend rather than just the weekend. Is because what I'm hearing here is an intention of the town of Thurman residents to clean up their side yard along with raking their yard. So that means clean up some ditches, put some garbage bags out, and the town is going to come along and pick them up at no charge to help us get our towns back. I've had so many questions about the litter in the town of Thurman and the look of the town of Thurman. You realize we do have a junk car ordinance? And it hasn't been implemented or done since Mr. Stoddard left town. He was our last, per se, junk car ordinance enforcer. You know, in my opinion, you shouldn't need a junk car enforcer. You should need a town resident who is responsible enough to take and clean up their own yard and not leave 5 or 6 junk, untired, unregistered cars, along with the garbage that maybe they're throwing out on the ditches that all of us are looking at and are picking up periodically. I think we need to bring some interest back to some interested people in the town of Thurman to look at their own ditch, pick up some of the garbage, and tell our neighbors quit throwing it out, because most of it's your neighbor.
The route I walk, just not to be argumentative at all.
No.
There are a lot of empty houses, if you will, and there's a great deal of space between houses, but that one stretch that I walk before I get to Martin, and now beyond, a little beyond, there just isn't anybody either there right now or whatever. But I was just telling Avis, what bothers me is the same garbage, and I told Cynthia what they were. It's still there a couple of years later, and there's so much of it that I literally can't fit it in my own car to get rid of it. So that's why I came. I just wanted to be able I had no problem picking it up, none. I just wanted to be able to take it to the landfill without it costing me a great deal of money, that's all.
David?
My husband and I, every spring, and you can ask Ed Brown this, we take our lawn cart behind our ATV and we ride along Don Potter Road with me hopping off the fender, picking it up, throwing it in there. We've done this year after year. And I think our road is the cleanest road in town because of that. But I'm not going to start coming up Mountain Road and run the risk of somebody rear-ending us on the ATV because it's not registered.
Yeah, oh
You know, so I wanted this, as a matter of fact, Smith, what's her name?
Karma?
Karma and I tried to get this going one time, and it fell on deaf ears.
What do you think about, though, having just, even if we said from Monday through Friday, and then kind of back off for the weekend, and then from the following Monday to Friday, and have the guys pick it up on Friday? And try to encourage everybody to kind of stay off the road for the garage sale weekend, pick up the week before, during the week after, and set it up. I mean, would that upset you, Perky, to have the garbage bags maybe sometimes along the side of the road?
Well, I don't think it would.
Yeah.
I don't think it would, for a travel time, if you picked it up, some garbage on the week prior, I don't think it would be a deficit to even take the garbage truck, throw it in the garbage truck, compact it, and move on. But I said we have availability, so it's cleaned up for the weekend. But the point we're getting at, or I see we're getting at, is, roads you drive, if you see garbage, take 15 minutes sometime and stop and pick up a section of it.
Yeah.
Put it in a garbage bag and set it on the side of the road. Tell them someone's going to come by and pick it up.
Okay, so should we ask the highway guys to pick it up on Friday? Do you have?
Let's do it on 2 Fridays. So it's ahead of the weekend.
On 2 Fridays? Well, that's a thought.
Well, not 2 Fridays.
The rush sale starts on Friday, though, it's a big day.
All right, we'll give it Thursday.
Are you talking about,
Yeah, I think
the 18th, you're picking it up on the 18th?
I think Thursday's a better
The
bet.
18th and
Pick it up on Thursday.
Best car picking up on your 18th sale.
I don't know that we shouldn't have it the second Friday, because it's going to take a little while for people to get in here and get the bags. And maybe we can make it a 2-week stretch and say the highway guys are gonna pick it up on Friday. What is the Friday after the garage sale?
26th.
What is that?
Friday Memorial.
After the garage sale?
The
Maybe
26th.
the 25th.
Okay, what if we say
26th.
from,
26th, you're right.
okay, so for the next couple of weeks, people can come in, get some clear bags, and on the 25th, the guys will go around. 26th, the guys will go around and pick up the garbage. How does that sound?
Awesome.
Try it out, see how it works?
Are you talking one pickup day? I'm-
Yes.
The only reason I'm asking this is, like I said, that the route that I'm gonna take, there's gonna be a lot of bags.
Well,
And I would get a hold of Pat, I wouldn't mind getting a hold of Pat and just saying, could you make an exception or something, if that would be okay with you guys?
I would think that it would not be a deficit if we left it with Pat. and
Yeah.
said, if we need to pick up on Wednesday.
If he, they're always going around the roads.
Correct.
We could say, keep your eye out, if you see that there's a bunch of garbage bags
Okay.
piling up on it, just,
I just
they'll
don't
know
want to leave it out
to
during.
pick it up.
Garage sale. There's gonna be a lot of bags.
Yeah, I know Pat's real excited about this, so I think he'll.
I think it's a great idea.
He'll work with,
Okay.
I think he'll work with that, and he'd be willing to keep an eye on things. 'Cause
Okay.
He was real excited about it.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
All right, so we're gonna do it that way, we'll have an official
Pick up as needed.
on 26, but pick up as needed too. Okay. All right, that sounds good. All right, let's see. I think the next thing, Perky. Perky, is going to speak about the wilderness corridor. Lori Arnheit came in today, and I tried to get it all to sink in, but it's quite a lot, so I'm really happy that you came in and you could share it with
I
us.
don't know all of it either, but,
I don't know if this would help you. Did you have one of, she wrote a bunch of stuff out. Would that help
oh,
you?
no, I don't have that. Good, thank you. This is the publication we're talking about. It's a tourism publication, put out by Interface Communications in North Creek, which is Lori Arnheiter, who runs Hudson River Trading Company. And she is a businesswoman who is community spirited, always looking for something to make people work together and businesses work together and community work together for the best results for all. And obviously she has a strong interest in tourism, so this kind of fits everything that she does, and it's a lot of what we do here too. This was a publication she did as the Southern Adirondack Dining Guide for a long time. And then she got talking to Warren County Planning and Wayne Lamont and said, we could be doing something to knit together these towns on the first Wilderness Heritage Corridor, which was established like around 2000, a little before 2000, and they were trying to spur the economy on the western side of the county, because the eastern side of the county has Lake George, it has Queensbury, it has Glens Falls, it has Bolton Landing, and it has the jobs. We have Gore when the weather's good. So I think Bill Thomas spearheaded this and decided that this would be really good. So Lori Arnheiter went to Wayne and said, you've got this first Wilderness Heritage Corridor that you're promoting in the area, and if we could use this to promote that idea of first wilderness. What she's done is she has gone to each town in the county, and particularly the ones along the river and rail corridor, which is us and North Creek and Stony Creek, towns that don't have an awful lot of economic opportunity. I'm sure you know that. And what they've done is, excuse me. Yes, it is. Mr. Lost it in his pile. What she has done is gone to each town and asked them to cooperate with the effort and take out a full-page ad for their town, and then after that full-page ad is paid for, the first Wilderness Heritage Corridor will reimburse. And I don't know the exact procedure, and I haven't had a chance to read this, but there's a reimbursement procedure for half of the cost. And then that entitles us to work up pages of advertising. And because of my work with occupancy tax money, that we do a portion of Thurman's occupancy tax money, we manage and oversee and issue grants and so on. So I have worked with Lori Arnheider to put together some of the editorial material, and I go out and work up the ads. And I do all the ads in our pages for Thurman in my role as working in publicity for TSA, Thurman Station Association. And what we have done is, because I can do the whole purchasing thing, and I can pay up front for the whole pages with occupancy tax that I manage, I can then go sell ads to businesses and events and say, I'm paying, but you're reimbursed this portion of it, so that people who are getting benefit for their business are also taking responsibility for it, but they're getting a better deal, and it's a nice way to represent Thurman as a place where it's fun to go, interesting things are happening, and nice people live here. So if you want to see it, you can pick up a copy here in the entryway. It's pages 44 through 41 through 45, excuse me. And I guess Lori came to you asking you to bring before the board a resolution to front the money for the one town's full page.
That's going to be, I think she said in July, she'll send us a bill, and then we'll pay that, and then once the check has been cashed, then we need to just, when we get our bank statements, we send her the front and the back of the check, and then she sends us back the reimbursement. That's how it works. And I'd like to add that she said that Thurman has the best pages in the book, thanks to you.
I did read it. It was very well written.
That's neat. And we have a lot of people who cooperate, and I think it's because they recognize that advertising together, we get a good deal, and it presents a really nice picture of town. And that's what it's all about for me, is a good opportunity for people and a good presentation for the town. And did I miss anything important in here?
No, I think that's good. We'll certainly take care of it, and I think it's a very nice job that you did. She was showing me, and it's a very nice publication. Thank you, Perky. Do you have anything else for us on that?
If you haven't signed up for the townwide sale and you're planning to sell, please do that. That's the only other thing I have.
Okay, thank you very, very much. Let's see, the last thing, I just wanted to show the town board. I'd like to wait till Councilman Harris comes. These are the vans, and of course it would say Town of Thurman, and there's the number. I just wanted to let you see that, and this would be, we had to cancel our order because we found out that in order to number them the way we wanted, it was
From zero.
we had to order 1,500 instead of 1,000. So and we have quite a few garbage bags, and we'd like to get rid of some of those first. But so we have to reorder. But we'll wait until Joan, I think, gets back, and I don't know if you want to look at the other ones again. Like Lori Arnheider was telling us about the ones they use in Johnsburg, and she said even though they don't tie around, they stick. She seemed to think you couldn't get them off once you got them on there. So
They're a lot bigger too.
What's that?
She said they were a lot bigger.
Yeah, and they were bigger and might show up. So
We haven't ordered them.
I'd like to get one of those and look at it.
Sure.
All right, and we'll bring that up at the next board meeting. Okay. I'd like to open the privilege of the floor. Gary?
Are you going to close the C&D at the dump?
We haven't made any decision to do that. Nope.
No, can I answer that?
Sure.
We just met with DEC because the permit has to be for the transfer station and the C&D had to be brought up because it was past due, basically. It had to be done in the next 30 days.
What's that?
The C&D and the transfer station, the end of the permit was in 30 days.
Well, I put the application in,
Correct.
maybe 2 months ago. I found out that we had, 2012 was the last time we were permitted.
Correct.
So we were
You have
up
to be
again in
updated.
June. I submitted the application, and there's also a new engineer with DEC,
Right.
and he replaced Mr. Mount St. Pleasant. And so he contacted me and asked could we have a meeting up at the landfill, and they wanted to take a look at it before they issued our permit. And so actually Mike and I went up and we toured the landfill, and we got our permit today. So we, as of now, have our brand new permit for the C&D. And I think that the question was to look at it and, which Mike is doing,
Well,
and make sure that that we're still within the perimeter of what
We
we're
have to-
allowed to use.
the C&D was designed for 29,000 yards of material when the permit was issued back in, Dave King was the promoter, town board representative that got the C&D in place. Through the course of time, there's a map. Jim Hutchins was the town engineer from North Creek who designed the area, put the liner in impregnable material, and the question is now we have to take a look at the maps by request of DEC, meeting with us, and see if we are within our boundaries, or are we over our boundaries, or are we over height? Are we under height? None of that has been determined. I have been looking at the maps. I have yet had a chance to make an appointment with Dave Kenyon, who was the originator, and Jim Hutchins is now no longer, so it may request that we have to have some site work done by an engineer, we may not. I'm in research of that right at this point to find out if we are in compliance, under compliance. But we do have a permit that gives us the right to use the C&D, to use our transfer station. They didn't deny us any of that. They just asked us to look into it, which we're doing.
We just got it today.
What we're doing.
We just got it. Pat, I talked to Pat about it today, and you might want to talk to him because he had some information on possibly another area that we can go into. He knows.
That's what the maps are reflecting. There was a secondary, but you have to prepare these areas, and then you have to close one before you can open another.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, it's not just like you can, we'll start another one.
Yeah, that's what
We're
we're permitted.
permitted.
Liaison.
I say we're permitted for this section,
Okay.
but there was a provision on those maps that said there's a possibility, but it's a permit system. You have to, like anything, you put an addition on your house and you decide to put another addition on your house, you gotta go get another building permit. That's the same with the C&D. It's the same thing. You have to go through the process in order to,
So the bottom
Extend.
line, you're not closing it?
there was never any word to close it.
No, and we just got the permit. And like I said, I applied for
A meeting with
permit for
DEC
the C&D.
to find out where we were at, and there was never any conversation
No.
by this board to close the C&D down, because one, none of us were familiar with the permit process. We had never done it.
There was a question of whether it could be kept open when we went up to look.
Right.
And that's what he was looking into, seeing what is
Making
that?
sure that
Yeah.
we're within our boundaries,
Yeah.
because if you exceed your boundaries, it's a cost to the town.
Then you
That
get
means
trouble.
if you
Yeah.
have not received enough money through your C&D deposits to pay for if you went beyond your boundaries that was listed for your permit, you have to bring those back in. If you're over height, you have to take it down. I mean, there's a lot of things. We just need to check into it. We don't have a clue.
That's all.
There's nothing we've checked into. Nothing we've got any reason to be involved with up until this point in time. So, no, we never had any conversation about closing the C&D. Never was a conversation.
Rich?
I just want to ask, if I might, a question about the garbage bags. The garbage bags
that you pay for it. Is that's designed to cover the expense for the tipping fees and such. Am I right or wrong?
I mean, if somebody buys the garbage
When we
bag,
buy the garbage bag, that money goes to pay the tipping fees, to maintain the garbage truck, and such and such. Well, I see we're selling them at half cost.
not now, we're not.
Okay,
That
well,
was just a 1 week.
We had a sale.
okay, all right, the sale's over.
No, you said the sale was gonna go on until further notice.
No, we had dates.
No, I thought we changed it to further notice, because I've been selling them at half price
Well,
every.
that's okay, but we had dates, so we
I
had.
thought we
said
discussed
from
a date and then we decided to keep it open.
No, we couldn't decide that.
Well, I can go back and check, but.
It's all right.
Well, my concern was that selling them at half price, how are we gonna make, how are we gonna make up the extra in the tipping fee? I myself, I use Ace, and a lot of people in town use Ace. And I mean, I wouldn't want myself, who's already paying to have their garbage collected, to have to contribute through my taxes to supplement the garbage bags that were being sold at half price.
That was only intended to be a short-time sale, and which other towns also run sales. Warrensburg does it every once in a while. And it was an effort to have a couple sales and possibly so that we could use up the garbage. See, all we have left is small, and most people like the large. So we kind of like to use up the small, but we don't have a sale going on right now. Well, we did, but now we don't. And
Not anymore, evidently.
yeah. And so
But the design is that the garbage bags and/or stickers are supposed to carry
yeah.
that side of the trash. Okay.
And the reason we went to stickers is because they're a whole lot cheaper to buy than the garbage bags.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that was the reason. Gail?
Who's running the loader up at the landfill now?
Nobody.
But you have to have somebody certified to make sure everything in the CD is covered.
You have to have a loader
Every
there
time.
first.
What?
You have to have a loader there first.
Why isn't a loader up there?
Ask Pat Wood. Ask Pat Wood. The loader has been there every weekend, every dump day that I'm aware
Well,
of.
probably
And
not,
since,
because nobody's up there.
and since we appointed a temporary to take a person who is not able to attend to the dump because of health reasons, the loader has been confiscated to the gravel pit, saying that we are not taking it up to the dump. So if you have a question why the loader is not at the dump, I would
Like I
call.
asked, who is certified at the dump now to run the loader?
Who is certified at the
Yeah.
dump to run it?
Which employee is certified to run a loader?
Well, the man, Keith Parent, who came from a past
Is he certified by the
road-
county?
road superintendent.
That doesn't mean he's certified. Is he certified
He
by
hasn't
the
run
county?
it yet, so we could check into being certified, I would think.
Well, I've actually spoke to Pat about this today because it is a bit of a problem. I asked, Brownie worked up there on Sunday. So I asked them, could they please take the loader up and do some of the things that needed to be done, and I did ask, I did not find out yet today if they did do it or not. And I spoke to Pat about it, and I said, Mr. Parent is willing to be tested, and, by you. And he wasn't real interested in that, and he insists that he needs to take a safety training on loader. So I'm not really sure about that. I think we need to look into if that, about that.
We can check that with
They both-
Mrs. Kloop down in the county.
Right.
She is the safety registered office, Amy Kloop.
So what you're saying is that you hired somebody up there that wasn't certified to run the loader?
I don't.
We haven't had a loader out there to run.
The loader was up there, so you hired somebody that isn't certified to run the loader. But the C and D, anything that comes up there has to be covered immediately.
That's what the,
So
It could be
you
put
don't
in
have
from the side.
anybody certified to run the loader.
Actually, Pat Woods told me today that he didn't see any reason why we needed a loader up there because he said the bins, and it's true, they can be open from the side, and people would have to carry the stuff into the bin from the side, and that there was really no need for a loader. And I've heard several different stories on the matter of the loader, but we'll have to look into this further, because it would be nice to have it up there, but I'm not aware that there was anything written down that somebody had to be certified. Was, I don't recall Mr. Needham ever going to certification.
We don't have to go back and listen to the minutes, I guess.
Was Mr. Needham ever
But I think they-
You have to go back and look through the insurance
We'll look
records.
into it, how about that? Next question? Al? No.
When are they gonna open it up? I was up there Saturday, somebody's been dumping brush.
There was some brought up, and then we put a note out that they could not bring brush up there. We're waiting for the go-ahead from the highway garage, because they have the chipper. And we can't have a great
The
big,
brush that I have.
excuse me?
What should I do with the brush that I got?
I guess you'll have to wait until after the burn ban is over and burn it, or you don't have a chipper?
No,
We have our own chipper.
I don't get a trigger.
Well, I'm sorry, but the chipper, the highway crew will periodically go up there and chip, and I've talked to them about it, and they have not yet told me when they are available to do any chipping.
I know, it's a big deal to get the trigger back here last winter when we had snow on the ground, so they could pick brush outside the road. Mike drove right by one there, the plow plowed it out of the road right in front of the
Okay.
motor for months.
All right, do we have any other questions from the floor?
There you go.
Carol?
Do you have an update on the workshop with Fred Engelman or somebody there to a date, or? I spoke with Fred, oh gosh, a couple of weeks back, and he's apparently out of state right now. He was back in the beginning of May, but we weren't ready yet then. We're kind of trying to get a figure on what we've got for finances, because I'm pretty sure he's going to want to get paid before he comes back and trains anybody.
The holdup really is that we have some financial things to figure out, and we do not want to move forward with making a payment to Mr. Engelman until we have our line drawn as to where we're starting and where the last year ended off. So, but it's certainly something that we very much want to do, and we actually are behind the scenes. Like, I'm upstairs researching, I know she's researching, and you know, we're not, I don't mean together, but individually, it's something that we really do want to look into. And like I told you today, I also made a phone call to Betty Little's office about the third round of the Governor Cuomo's broadband grants, and got an email.
It is a different,
Yeah,
it's a different ballgame this time. It is, yeah.
And I got an email address. I emailed, her name is Anna, and she answered my email, and she asked if I would like to speak with her, and I said that yes, I would.
Oh, and she.
Yeah, and I asked her if we could speak Wednesday. I have not heard back from her yet, so I'll be watching for an email. And, you know, we can see what's out there. I don't know if it'll amount to anything or not, but I think Kathy, you said that this was a 50.
It is.
You had a.
It is, yeah. The
Yeah.
state will pick up 50% this time.
Yeah, but we are working towards that.
Yeah, that just, you guys know how I feel about that, about, it's not really fair to the town at all to have to front half of that and then have people pay again.
We don't,
It's not the best.
the town pays nothing.
And then in the third round, you do. In the third round of this new, the broadband program.
They only match
for-
50%.
It's a 50% deal.
I thought that was though to match a business or a company coming in like Time Warner
5%.
Cable or Verizon.
Well,
But the town still has to put out a bid.
yeah. We are looking into it.
And it's different this time.
Any other questions?
In relation to this topic, I've read several articles recently about the broadband initiative and that the fact that the state was looking to towns, creating task force, if you will, that would help work with the government in figuring out the mapping issues, because that seems to be the biggest problem in the previous rounds.
Yeah.
They stated that a lot of areas were marked as being served, when in actuality, they may have only had a very small percentage of their town receiving access to internet, and so therefore they were being overlooked. So they were saying that they felt if the towns could provide like a small task force that would help them in the mapping discrepancies, so as not to be overlooked in the future and be marked as served when actually they're underserved or unserved altogether. So I'm curious, have any of you on the board had any conversation with anyone or looked into how we as a town could be helping to solve this issue so that we are not overlooked in this round?
That's kind of what my email was about. I explained how, the size and how we have many areas that don't, and I'm hoping, I'm watching for her email, because she said to me, would you like to talk with me? And I said I would. And so as soon as, and I suggested Wednesday, maybe she's just going to call me on Wednesday. She didn't, so I'm keeping an eye on the email, and if I don't get one soon, I'll email her back. Those were the questions. She sent me a link to the program, and it's 153 pages long. There's a lot to digest. So, but the best we can do is to look into it, and certainly, any way we can help, we certainly would like to.
Can I add one thing?
Rich?
I've worked for New York Tel years back, and I don't think there's too many people in town here that are really happy with their phone service. It rains, you get a hum on the line, your phone is out. I have DSL. DSL doesn't work, and when it does work, it's not working the way it should work. The cabling in this area is horrendous. It's unsafe. When there's an electrical storm, my phone rings. It's not supposed to do that. I know people that have had their phones melted off the wall, right, because of poor grounding. If your phone is ringing as the lightning flashes, that means that the cabling coming up here, the bonding that's supposed to draw that off and put it to ground, is open. We have cables laying on the ground that are unsafe. The guy comes and mows, right? We all, if they mow on Bear Pond Road, we lose our phone service because the lines are just laying alongside the road. The fact of the matter is, we as a community should be pressuring Verizon to make things right and to make things safe.
Get out and let somebody else come in and do it properly.
Well, the thing is, Verizon can give you Fios. You can get your internet, you can get your phone, and you can get your TV. Now, if they can come in here and replace cables at half of what it's going to cost them to do it, if we get the right connections and get on it, in better words, attack this from another angle. They're not providing the service to us that they're supposed to provide. And they're providing unsafe lines to us.
Well, I've heard that there are a lot of areas, more developed areas than us, that still don't have Fios.
Right.
Where per capita, there's far more homes, and they can't even get Fios. So Verizon is just dropping the ball all across the board. And
they're not terribly interested in
they're not interested because
in Thurman because they don't make enough money. I think
no
it's a problem.
interest in expanding the internet or anything here.
If they can do it.
Right, thank you. We really shouldn't get into back and forth on the floor.
I just want to comment on you. Verizon goes right by my house with the fiber optic lines and refuses to service the people along the line. It is only for the cell tower.
Yeah, you brought that up at the last meeting.
I was told that,
Yeah.
okay? They don't care. They just want the big bucks. They don't want the little bucks. So,
Doesn't serve us either. Carol?
When I first contacted Betty Little's office, I had her assistant, Keith,
Sheriffs.
yeah, he contacted me, and he thought I was talking about what you were just saying. So if Verizon isn't servicing what's already in place for you, he said you really absolutely have to contact the public service. You know who they are.
Yeah.
Because if they're not doing what's already, if they're not taking care of what's already there, then you really need to file a complaint.
Well, that's what we should do
And
as a
that's what we should
community.
be doing.
That's the pressure we can put on them.
Absolutely.
Why doesn't people, you know, I mean, I know a lot of people are mad about Verizon, and they have been for years. I mean, letters. I called them a whole bunch of times when I was the town clerk. I tried all kinds of offices. I kept stopping the guys that were coming in here to you know, do work, and they just don't seem to be interested because there's much space in between each house, and there's just not enough money to be made. But maybe we need to just be the squeaky wheel that gets the grease, write lots and lots of letters.
When you read the article I sent you.
Yeah, she's got an article for us to read. We'll, yeah. And any other questions?
In response to that, I called Verizon recently to complain specifically about the fact that even though